Okay, we'll be joined by Rohan Dennis. He's out doing a couple TV things right now, and Robbie Squire as well from the Hencappy team who attacked on the Boreas climb. Brent, take us through the last, it was probably 300 kilometers through the crazies up there, and then as it crested, where was Rohan, and when did he jump?
Oh, yeah, it was an amazing atmosphere up there. It was, yeah, even crazier than I remember, and the climb was harder than I remember. I remember the turns just keep coming and coming, and the climb just kept going and going, and it didn't disappoint in that regard. It was brutal. Taylor Finney and Mickey Shar gave us an incredible lead out into the climb. Taylor had me and Rohan both just fully on the limit, almost trying to hold the wheel. And then we turned onto the steeper slopes of the climb, and Robbie put in a really, really hard acceleration. That was when I had to say, no can do. I had to back it off, govern myself a little bit. Rohan also gave him a little bit of a gap. But the kind of our tactic going into this race, or the stage today, was save a little bit for that last 200 meters of the climb going over the top, because that's where you're just loaded and you're totally anaerobic and just dying from no oxygen. And that's where Rohan, I could still see him smacked it over the top of Robbie. And I sort of did a little bit of the same to get back on terms with Robbie, and then, just sat on his wheel down the downhill.
So when did you hit the red line? When would you say from the top?
I was red line before the climb even started, right? To be honest. Okay. Yeah, Taylor had us Taylor did a full-on, individual pursuit into the lower slopes, and I was just joking with him that, maybe we should have been working for him, and he said, that was full gas for him, and he was really happy when he pulled off to only see, 5 or 10 guys still there, even on his wheel.
Questions, Pat? Neil?
Yeah, Brent, can you just talk a little bit about, the emotion to lose the jersey, but to lose it to a teammate?
Yeah, there's definitely some disappointment in losing the jersey. As I've said in the past few days, the opportunities that I have to wear a leader's jersey, they don't come along every race. But that said, I had a really great 2 days in the leader's jersey, and that position of having the lead was largely due to some great teamwork, especially from Rohan in the finals of both stages that put me there. So, no hard feelings towards Rohan. I'm really, really excited for him, really happy for him, and I think in hindsight, this is a pretty good team tactic. I think coming into the race, Rohan was very quick to deflect his ambitions to ride GC, and very adamant about not wanting any pressure. So probably the best thing we could have done was told him to ride as hard as he can on the front every day for someone else. And then by virtue of that, he's still in the race, and now obviously in a great position to win the race.
Do you have, less inspiration now going into the time trial than you would have if you had been defending the yellow jersey?
No, not at all. If anything, maybe I have a little less pressure, and that might even help me do a better time trial. But no, I'm still inspired to finish off this week of racing. Dream scenario would be to go 1-2 in the GC, and it's going to be really hard to do. I have 3 hard days left, but not impossible. So that'll be sort of my motivation tomorrow. I mean, finishing on the podium in the USA Pro Challenge would be still a highlight of my career.
Who do you think are the top contenders for the time trial tomorrow besides yourself and Rohan?
I'd have to look at the list again. I think generally the guys that have been riding good in the GC are going to be good in the time trial. It's not a pure time trial specialist course. It looks pretty dynamic. Some corners, some undulations. Obviously that same brutal climb again. So I think the guys that have proven over the week so far to be in good form, riding good at altitude, able to climb, I think generally those are going to be the guys fighting for the top results on the TT. And then outside them, obviously, Zerbil comes to mind because he's shown himself to be one of the best TT riders in the country.
What about Taylor? Is that a little too much climb for him?
Taylor at full strength. No, I think it would be a really good course for him, and especially seeing the power that he had leading us into that final climb today. He's clearly really fit right now, and he's motivated for the TT. So I think Taylor will probably do a really, really storming first split in the little out and back section before the climb. And then I think if he recovers well from today and his knee's feeling good for that high power, high torque climb, I think he'll do a good result.
Now let's turn it.
do this again.
Alrighty. Sorry's up.
This is part 2. We saw this reversed roll a couple days ago. Rohan, take us through the climb, the acceleration you put in, the effort, certainly. Brent was talking about how you guys were redlining just going into the climb due to Mickey and Taylor's efforts. So talk a little bit about where you were when you launched, just where you were on the red line, I guess, and take us through the final kilometer.
Yeah, so like Brent said, I was definitely in the red. I kept looking at my power and just making sure I didn't go too far into it. I sort of let them go a little bit, you might have seen, and then just rode my own tempo. Robbie Squire, he attacked, and I used him as a bit of a carrot, you could say. And I was honestly playing mind games with myself the whole way up. I was waiting for that 1K to go to the KOM, and I never saw it. And then I saw the 200 meter sign to go, and the crowd was going nuts, and I'll click it into a bigger gear and go. It hurt still, I won't lie, but it was that adrenaline of knowing that you're going over the top first, and there is a gap gives you a bit of a boost.
Any wild costumes you passed? I'm sure you're in the little
All
star.
all I saw was that banner, that KOM.
I can believe that. Questions?
Yeah, Rohan, congratulations. Can you talk a little bit about the emotion? They say there's no better way to win than solo, no one else in the photo. Can you talk a little bit about the feeling of crossing the line alone and kind of proving that you're the strongest man in the race?
Yeah, it doesn't happen too often, to be honest. And most of the time, I'll either podium or win in team time trial or time trial. So to sort of get basically a hilltop with a small descent is pretty special, and it felt I was pretty excited, you could say. It was just like what Brent and Taylor said after their stage wins, and to be honest, I was looking around at the crowd, and it was huge. It was one of the special moments of my career, that's for sure.
Brent mentioned earlier that you've been kind of cagey about whether you were here for the general classification or not, and yet here you are in yellow. Was that the plan all along, or if not, how do you think you ended up here?
To be honest, I've tried to flick myself every single day. First day I went on the attack, 40K to go, then 20K. Second day I rode from the bottom to the top of the final climb, thinking that people were going to attack me and I'd get dropped. Yesterday I rode from 35K to go up Independence down to the finish. I got a bit of help from Mickey Shah, and then today it was just go up the climb as hard as I could. So to be honest, I wasn't planning on riding GC here. It just happened to be that I've stepped it up a couple of levels over the last couple of years, and the altitude doesn't affect me as much.
Rohan, you could be potentially the first non-American to win the U.S. Pro Challenge. Does that give you more incentive to keep this yellow? And what are your thoughts behind that?
To be honest, I'm not looking at those sort of records or using that as any sort of boost. I'm taking day by day. Tomorrow's a time trial. That was my initial goal, and I'm aiming to take that stage win as well, and then it's all about just protecting that lead, and hopefully we still have second with Brent, or if I have a really bad one and he smokes me tomorrow, we'll swap around again, and so I'm really not looking at that sort of record or anything.
I'd like to work in Robbie Squire of the Hencappy Racing Team. Robbie, grab the mic a little closer. It's just the way these mics work here. Give us your effort or gauge your effort through the. It seemed like the crowd up there. I'm sure a little extra punch in the adrenaline going through there, but take us through the climb.
Yeah, so I remember doing this climb last year and suffering off the back by myself, and just kept remembering it kept turning and going up a little further. And unfortunately, it was about 2 pitches more than I was hoping. But, I mean, it was a lot of fun, all the crowds up there. And the crowds were so far down the hill, I thought I was going to crest it even a little bit earlier. But came around the corner, and there's an even bigger crowd up top. So it was pretty cool.
And, give us just a little insight on, hey, if you're there on the top, what would you need in order to hold it? How many seconds?
I remember from last year that as a descent after, so pretty much going over the top, it was going to be the order you finish in. The order over the KOM is going to be the order you're going to finish in. And I was trying to get out in front before the crowds because I knew it'd be so narrow. And, Rowan here caught me pretty quickly right in the crowds and came around me. But, tried to hold on before the top. And then on the descent, it was just pedaling as hard as I could. And Brent came up to me. And unfortunately, I was just in the worst situation I could be in. If he can't help me out, chase down his own teammate, and so just gave it everything I could to the finish. Yeah.
Yeah, Robbie, nice ride today.
Thanks.
So BMC looks pretty strong at this race. What can be done to try to unseat them, or is it possible?
I mean, yeah, they're strong, and I've been riding behind these two the last few days and keep thinking, maybe they're getting tired. And then sure enough, they just accelerate. And so, I think I told you yesterday, I'm going to try to win every day I can. And, it's bike racing. It's fun. And it's good to race against strong guys. Yeah, I mean, I'd love to be up on the podium, and honestly, it kind of hurts to hear Rowan didn't come here with any GC ambitions and then just smashes everybody. So, a little belittling, but it's okay. I'd like to stay up on the podium if I can.
Don't stress, I get smashed in Europe.
Brent, sorry, over here. Sure. Damiano was in the break today, and it looked like the break had some pretty good firepower, and I saw Cannondale kind of working pretty hard to bring it back. Was there any sense back there that those guys would stay off and make a run for it?
Yeah, that's what we were hoping. Damiano had a tough day 2 days ago. He crashed really hard in that feed zone crash yesterday. So yesterday he took it a little easier, recovered, and then today up Independence Pass right off the start he was incredible. And it was getting a little crazy there. So he jumped on a good wheel, and then I think the best guy in there was 5 minutes on GC. So, yeah, the perfect situation for us would have been to have him sit on the brake all day, arrive to the last climb with maybe 2 minutes, and then have him jump those guys and win the stage. As you saw, the crosswinds and then Garmin's aggressive riding sort of thwarted his hopes in the break, but it was still really nice to have him up there. I think that's a testament to the depth of the team and the motivation of the team here to be riding the front every day of the race, and then also put a guy into the break for playing the stage win.
Robbie, you've had kind of a rough couple of years. You've switched
Yeah.
teams a few times.
Mhm.
How much does a result like this and a week like you've been having this week mean for you personally and for your career?
It's the biggest thing is the confidence boost that the team's put behind me is, some health issues over the last few years and switching teams and things like that. It's easy to get into a downward spiral just with self-confidence and everything. But from the beginning of the year, the team's had tons of confidence in me, which has been huge. And I've loved it every second of it, being with them. And then to ride it where I know I can ride is just, icing on the cake. It's great. And it's great to pay back the team's support throughout this year.
Take one more question. Robbie, real quick, talking to Thomas Craven before the start of the race, he said you had a legitimate top 5 or podium potential in this race. What did he know that maybe others didn't going into this race?
One thing I think that's real special about Craven is he takes the time to know the riders before he signs them. And so when I was speaking with him last year, he goes, I like you. I think you got potential. you're a good cyclist, but more so I like you. And so, you know, I feel like I can trust him and he trusts me. And, you know, I think he's just brutally honest. And if he would have told you I was going to suck, if he thought I was going to suck, he'd have told you, yeah, he's not going to be any good. And so, you know, it's nice to hear that, but I know it in the back of my mind already.
Any final questions? If not, thank you, gentlemen, for your time. One more time trial up Boreas Pass. So, all right.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
Can't wait.